Hello and welcome to the Sir David Wallace Sports Centre at Loughborough University for this BBL Championship clash between the Leicester Riders and the Sheffield Sharks right here on Sky Sports. A win for the Riders at home will see them join Newcastle at the top of the championship table. The Sharks, though, come here in their best form of the season, and with 4 teams hunting them down in the playoff race, will be looking to continue that form and stay above the playoff line. Before we get into the action, let's see how the two teams are placed in the BBL Championship table. Newcastle are a couple of points ahead of the Riders, but Leicester play their game in hand today and will try and make up that gap. Surrey and Plymouth now level in third, but they're both a long way back from the top two. Glasgow are also on 22 points, albeit they played a couple more games to get there. Cheshire, Manchester and Durham are all right there in the hunt as well. Well, the last time we were in Loughborough, we reminisced how the Leicester Riders had began life here in Loughborough at Victory Hall, which was just a couple of hundred yards down the way there. They've knocked it down since. Fortunately, I'm joined by Jeff Jones, who I believe may have played at Victory Hall many moons ago.
I think I probably averaged about 35 a game every time I came down. So, yeah, very fond memories. It was a great place to play, actually. Great atmosphere, and obviously tonight I think we'll have the same type of atmosphere.
Certainly it will do. Back to the modern day, Sheffield in this big battle with yourselves, 4 or 5 teams down there fighting for only a couple of playoff places.
No, it's true. It's as interesting at the bottom of the table, from my perspective, certainly, as it is at the top. And obviously all games are key, and it's going to be a dogfight, I think, both ways at the top for the title between Leicester and Newcastle, probably more so than anybody else, obviously, and about 6 of us at the bottom scrapping around for to get knocked out in the first round of the playoffs.
Well, we look at the Leicester Riders, who are trying to go back level with Newcastle at the top end of the table. Defensively, they've been tremendously strong this year.
I think it's their strength. I mean, their depth, that, and their strength, because they don't really have one guy that you can key on offensively, but defensively, I think they're phenomenal. I think they've got length, they've got athleticism. It causes an awful lot of teams, a lot of trouble. And to be fair, it's caused Sheffield some this year.
And if we look at the Sharks, they seem to be in their best run of form this season over the last month or two. You've had a chance to play against them. Have you seen any difference in recent weeks?
I think Holmes has been a great addition for them. I think he's what most teams in this league have, a very, very good point guard that controls the tempo, finds people, makes people better on the floor. I think he was a big key for them in the resurgence of getting their season back on track and for the playoffs.
Now, I know, Jeff, you'll probably want Leicester to win here, but how will Sheffield be able to beat the Riders, do you think?
It's going to be controlling tempo, maybe not letting the defensive pressure bother them too much, trying to get into their sets. It's tough because Leicester throws 10 guys at you, and it's going to be tough. But Sheffield have guys that if they get hot, they can carry them, and I think it's going to have to take something like that for Sheffield to win.
Well, those are Jeff's views. Earlier, I caught up with the two coaches to see what they thought of the game were. Well, Rob, you've got this phenomenal record at home, including a few games over the last year here at Loughborough. I mean, you must feel uber confident every time you step on the floor.
Yeah, we've had a great run. Our support's been brilliant. The atmosphere created by our fans, whether it be here or John Sanford, has been good. And, we got a good team. So when we play games at home, we feel good.
And Sheffield this season, you've done a really good defensive job against them in the 3 meetings so far.
Yeah, I think that's been important. Any team we've played, defense is where it starts, but this is a team that's gotten better as the season's gone on. I think with the addition of B.J. Holmes and Jelson, I think they're a solid team right now. And, we know that whoever we play as the season goes on is going to be different than earlier in the year, but hopefully we've gotten better as well.
Yeah, Holmes made his debut against you guys in the Cup semi-final. How do you think he's developed into the league, and how has it changed them?
Well, I think it's given him a more of a natural point guard. I think he makes their other players' jobs easier to score. I like what he does, and he also can shoot the ball. Played at a high level in college, and you expected that from him. I just think they have better balance now with that type of player in the backcourt.
Good luck. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
Cheers, Rob. Thanks. Well, Atiba, as an outside observer, it looks like you guys are in the best form of the season. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I think we've made some strides recently. Guys are kind of getting more comfortable with the system I run, and the younger guys are kind of becoming more reliable and stable on the court.
And it'll be a real test of the credentials tonight against the Riders.
Yeah, you know, they're a very excellent defensive team. That's why they're top of the league. And, you know, we got to do our best to offensively make some plays and create some stuff for ourselves, because they're not going to make anything easy on us.
Yeah, you've played them 3 times and they've kept you to a relatively low number each time. How do you manage to get points on the board against this team?
Well, in the past, I know we've shot the ball, you know, pretty awful. Some of it due to them, some of it's just missing wide open shots. So hopefully get those looks again tonight. We can knock them down, and we're kind of clicking a little bit better offensively. So hopefully that'll help some of those problems we had earlier in the season.
And at the other end of the floor, it's hard to concentrate on any one player. They don't have a standout scorer. What they have is a lot of different guys.
Yeah, it's gonna come down to us just being strong, rebounding the ball, limiting our turnovers, and giving them transition points. You know, I think in the half court they've got guys that can make plays, but if you can keep them from getting transition and offensive rebound, that's the most you can hope for.
And those of us of a neutral persuasion, we love these 5-way battles for 2 playoff places. How is it from your perspective?
You know, I try not to really get caught up in it. We're just trying to win. You know, we've had hopefully our best basketball's ahead of us, so we're just trying to keep getting better and improve, and hopefully you can secure one of those spots.
Good luck in today's game. Thanks for talking to us. Well, let's take a look at the 2 team lineups for tonight's game, starting with the Leicester Riders. And the remarkable thing about their success is it's come without a dominant scorer. Pavel Lasonsky is the only guy in the top 20 leading scorers, and he's 20th in the league. Indeed, their top scorer this season remains John Fraley, whose campaign was ended after only 5 games through injury. Taylor, Kuznod, Sullivan, Rowe, Jeff, it can come from anywhere.
No, absolutely, and I think that's their biggest strength, is that you can't key on any individual offensively. And then obviously we've talked a little bit about their defense already, and I just think it's a tough team to guard.
Well, if we flip over to the Sheffield Sharks now, and it's no coincidence that their upturn in results has coincided with BJ Holmes' arrival in the lineup. He gives them a different look in the backcourt. Mika Williams leads the Sharks in points this season, but Jemison, Tuck, Babalola, also key contributors. Jeff, you fancy they'll all need to be at their best if they're to have any chance to score against the Riders. They've averaged only 57 points a game in the 3 meetings between these 2 teams.
No, obviously they're going to have to have very good nights across the board, but I think really it's going to be down to an individual stepping up and then maybe having an exceptional evening for them to have a shot at winning the game.
It certainly will do. The Riders and the Sharks out on court, and we're ready to go. The fans counting down, and the referee's just waiting, and now we're gonna go here. The Leicester Riders, who haven't lost a home game since February last year, 50 weeks ago, 22 wins in a row, looking to add to that here today. Williams. Of course, that means they haven't lost a home game this season, so this current side doesn't know what it's like to taste defeat either here or at John Sanford. Here's Babalola for the Sharks with the pull-up from the elbow, and Sheffield are first on the board.
No, I just think they took their time, they were patient, and they ended up really getting the kind of shot that they wanted.
Taylor, Sullivan trying to come around the screen, gets it from him. Kuznov, back to Sullivan. Lasonsky closed down quickly at the free throw line. Under pressure, has to bail out of the shot and throws it away to Tuck.
No, Sheffield did a good job defensively there. They've done their sets. It's really going to be Holmes controlling the tempo of the game for Sheffield to have a chance.
Lob down low to Jemison, spins back the other way. Shot doesn't go. 3 Leicester players going after it. Eventually, it ends up in the hands of Rowe. Sullivan. Taylor comes up to the top, round the screen. Steps underneath, but walked with it, said the official. Just trying to get a little space there to make that pass, call for the travel.
Yeah, just a little bit. I think that the Sheffield have started out well. They're doing a decent job in the half court. I think Leicester's going to have to take advantage of their depth and maybe try and up the tempo a little bit.
BJ Holmes. Out to Tuck. Back to Holmes. Jemison now in the low post. They're clearly trying to establish him early on. Good work on that one.
No, I think Jamison gives them that inside-outside little bit of stuff where Tuck was mainly carrying all that for them this year, and it's given Tuck an opportunity to get into the perimeter, which he kind of likes as well.
Well, Leicester looking for their first score of the game. Jay Cousineau to the glass, can't get it. It's tipped up in the air by Tuck. Cousineau gets it back. Sullivan sets his feet from behind the arc and hits for three.
Now, that's the kind of stuff that's probably 90% of the time. Offensive rebounds kicked out, and they make you pay with the three.
Foul called on Jay Cousineau. Rob Paternostro on the sideline, not quite agreeing with that. Mind you, not seen too many fouls against his team that he doesn't agree with. Let's have another look at it.
I mean, it's a little bit of a chippy one, to be honest. I mean, it's in the sense of the backcourt, it's not really hurting anything. You should probably let it go.
Here's that Holmes-Taylor matchup. Holmes fires up for three, doesn't go. Lobbed up by Babalola, perhaps a little too quick. Sullivan keeping his dribble despite falling to the ground. Great play from the GB captain. Lasonsky at the top of the key. Sullivan. Rowe comes to the elbow. Rowe steps round, throws it up and in for two. It looked like it was just going to be out of his reach for a second.
No, I think Anthony Rowe brings a great dimension to Leicester. He gives them that toughness inside that they were probably lacking a little bit before he came.
Yeah, you think back to the Leicester team at the start of the season, very much built around John Fraley's presence. He was averaging a double-double, leading the league in rebounding, their top scorer. Sheffield will get a delay of game warning there for knocking the ball away. But actually, his injury, bringing in Rowe, has changed the dynamic of this team.
No, absolutely, and then also, again, it's so well balanced now. They've got a situation where Anthony's probably not as dominant as John was, but he's in a situation where he's fit into the role. He's given him that inside presence to go along with the great athletes they've got on the perimeter.
Here's Lasonsky, thinks about the mid-range shot. He's normally fairly reliable from that distance. That one had a think and bobbled out.
It definitely had a look.
Sharks leading this one by one. 3 minutes in. Holmes keeps driving to the hole. Turned the corner, had to step on Taylor and kept going.
I mean, I think that's what he gives you. I think if you're struggling offensively, he picks his moments well. He doesn't force things. He just takes his time, and he doesn't look to score unless it's really, really needed.
Here's Sullivan to Rowe. Rowe driving to the basket. You can't let him put the ball on the floor in that situation.
No, it's a tough matchup for Tuck on the perimeter and also inside. Anthony's good when he goes to the hole. Minimum amount of dribbling, and he just focuses on finishing.
Babalola at the top of the key going against Sullivan. There's two guys who love to battle against each other.
Now, again, we talked about the Holmes and Taylor going against each other. Those two grew up against each other, playing all the way through. So, yeah, it'll be an interesting matchup between the two of them.
Here's Sullivan to reply with the three-pointer. Doesn't quite go. Tipped up in the air by Williams. That'll be, whoa, it'll be a Sheffield ball. It did look like Williams had tapped that one away, but the referee had judged it off a Leicester player last. Sheffield leading Leicester by 3 here.
And that's an example of the pressure, isn't it? They're way out of their sync. They're way out of their offensive set because of the perimeter pressure.
And it forces a turnover with Taylor, who is so good at ripping the ball away, coming up with the steal. Cousineau thought about the three, turned it down, gives it back to Lasonsky, and Leicester will reset through Taylor. Taylor against Tuck, trying to get it to Sullivan, but Tuck did well there. Good pass. Williams forced to stop and overcooked it, missed the tip as well. Still going after it. Cousineau rips it away. Jay Cousineau off and running. Little stop and go. He's bumped by Tuck, and he will go to the line for two.
I think Leicester need a little bit more of that, pushing the ball and taking advantage in transition, and it'll make it a little bit easier for them in the half court.
Sheffield here coming up with the steal at one end, and then Cousineau got the bump, still managed to get a shot off.
Oh no, Cousineau's tough. I mean, obviously he was seen in the cup final. He's a gamer. He's a player, and he does whatever's necessary to help his team win. And I really like him. I really think he's one of the better players in the league.
Well, it's funny because you hear some things where people are saying, well, does he score enough? You know, they thought he came over as a shooter and he was going to average 25 a game or something. But actually, what he does at the defensive end, the length that he gives Leicester, is probably more valuable than points at the other end.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, I mean, not necessarily to the uninitiated, but sometimes people put way too much emphasis on points. It's what Leicester have done in the sense of the balance of the team and people not really wanting to be outstanding superstars, but fitting into the concept that Rob's got there.
And as we saw in the cup final, on any given night, he can still put a big number up on the board.
That's right, and this is again an example of the depth of bringing Yorick back in, or Yorick into the game, and Anderson. So the two dichotomies: a very young player, very promising, and a very wily veteran in Yorick Williams.
Jorge Calvo was also into the game a moment or two ago, so Leicester already 8 deep in the first quarter, and that one tipped in eventually by Jelson. Rowe was waiting for the rebound to come off the ring, and Jelson said, "I'll just tip it in."
No, I mean, Sheffield have done a good job getting aggressive on the glass and attacking the basket well.
Sullivan to Anderson. Anderson drives to the hole. He's fouled first, blocked second. He'll go to the line for the free throw line. And you look at a guy, you mentioned the youth of Anderson, and there's the foul, and the block is clean enough. But if he didn't foul out of the cup final there,
he might have some trouble picking the MVP, I think.
Indeed. He was so key in what Leicester did. And I know talking to Rob after the game, he was, well, a foul here or there that he didn't necessarily agree with. It could have cost him an MVP.
Yeah, no, it's good to see British talent getting on the floor and being a contributor in finals and stuff. And there's a tremendous amount of British talent in there, and to get to see them play and perform at that level is really great to see.
Anderson misses the second free throw. Jelson pulls in the rebound. Sheffield still leading by 3 here.
Leicester going to a little bit of a 2-3 zone now to try and maybe stop the penetration and control the boards a little bit more.
Lamble also into the game now, so Leicester, less than 6 minutes into the game, have 4 of their starters on the bench. Thrown up by Bridge on the shot clock buzzer, out of bounds. And we talk about depth, but I saw this, I think it was the game we did down in London earlier, where Leicester go 9 players on the court in the first quarter.
No, I think from the point of view of that's a good one, because you're getting the players used to the tempo of the game. You're getting everybody in early, and you maybe be able to find somebody that's actually performing well for you.
Sullivan inside, draws the contact, converts, and will go to the line for a bonus. And as we look back at this, good finish by Drew Sullivan. The other thing it does give you is it's going to get a grind in the season now. Leicester are going to have a lot of games coming. They've got 2 trophy semi-finals to pull in over the next few weeks. They're challenging with Newcastle. It helps to have a lot of legs in this sort of situation.
Oh, absolutely, and especially with when you're going up against teams that maybe have short benches and stuff, and it'll definitely help. And the thing it also does is, like we said earlier, they don't really have a standout superstar, but you may find somebody early on in the game that is on, like Anderson was in the final.
Yeah. Sullivan converts the 3-point play. Leicester coming with some full court pressure here. The game level at 12. Babalola skips it round to Williams. He had a big night from the 3-point line last week, and he started off well this week.
Yeah, that's just a little basic error. You just cannot leave the ball. You just have to go, especially somebody like that, and trust the guys behind you. But yeah, if Williams is set, it's usually money.
Anderson thought about diving over, but just got worried about the man in the corner, and Williams made him pay. Lamble at the free throw line, back to Sullivan. Shot clock getting low. Lamble's got to get it off, does get it off, and he's blocked by Olu Babalola, but they reset the shot clock there. That should have been a shot clock violation.
No, I think they've noticed it, yeah. No, it's great help by Williams coming across.
It was definitely, as Lamble went, it was down to about 3, and then the shot clock is now down to 19, which would suggest 5 seconds have passed since it was reset. It ought to be a shot clock violation. It's whether the table and the referees can work that one out. Yes, they have. They got it right in the end.
Yes. Now, it was great help from Babalola. Obviously, Leicester had a decent cut to the basket and looked like a certain basket. Babalola did a great job getting across.
And it was noticeable that Rob Paternoster just nodded his head yes to that call. He knew it was a violation.
It's one that he's agreed with anyway.
Yeah. Williams. This time they do run out to Williams. Two guys did. Babalola fires up from behind the arc. That short tuck going after the offensive glass. Couldn't quite get it. Calvo to Lambo. Anderson fighting against Holmes inside, and they're going to call that on Anderson as he was trying to gain position against B.J. Holmes.
I'm not too sure. I think he recognized he had a mismatch. Maybe Leicester should have maybe tried to get it to him a little bit earlier, but down on the other end, at Sheffield's end there, Babalola, it kind of takes a forced shot. He had kicked it on to Bridge in the corner. It might have been a better option for Sheffield at the time.
Good hands from Calvo to pull that away. Has Anderson with him. Anderson will jam it down. Nobody better on the break on the Leicester team than Jamal Anderson.
Now, Leicester have stepped it up now. They're starting to pressure and take advantage of what we had talked about earlier, their depth and their length on the perimeter.
Williams fires up short, got caught on the arm. I think it might be on Cousinard. If it is, that'll be his second personal foul, and he'll have to come out of the game with 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter.
It's a tough one, isn't it? You take out one of the better players in the Leicester and bring in the GB captain. So I'm not going to cry too much for Rob in that sense.
Yeah. Referee having a word with Rob Paternostro, giving him a warning. Any more arguing we'll see him get a technical foul.
It's at 1:58 left in the first quarter. That's not too bad. That's not too bad.
Well, I was talking to Rob before the game. He said, I really woke up this morning. Terrible head cold, didn't feel very well. Got the shivers and shake. He looks back to normal on the sidelines.
So, whatever medication he's taking, it's worked.
Well, I think it's the adrenaline of coaching as much as anything else.
It.
Williams off the back of the ring, Tuck fighting with Sullivan, well done, Sullivan, to keep that one in bounds. Diving in to keep it away, obviously knew he'd touched it last, so couldn't let it go out. And there's a foul on Williams, and some ironic cheers from the Riders supporters behind their bench, who were of the same opinion as Paternoster.
No, definitely a shove. And I think that's the diversity that Leicester have. They can post a Sullivan up. They can bring a Lambo out to the perimeter and create mismatches across the floor for the defensive teams. And it makes it, they're a tough team to guard. And what they do is they recognize the mismatches and they take advantage of it.
And in some ways, that's what having Sullivan on your team gives you, because he can go and play 5 if you want him to. He can play 3 very well. Yeah. He can bring the ball up and play point guard, as we've seen. He can take it baseline and jam it down as well.
Now, Andrew's his versatility has actually helped create the longevity in his game. No, tremendous move, spin move. Still a great athlete, and he does know how to make sure teams are competitive and win trophies.
Great block by Lambo, and he rips it away from Lewis as well. Calvo is double teamed, manages to pull it away. Here's Sullivan, hands over to Calvo, tied at 16 here. Anderson. Lamble at the free throw line, doesn't quite go. Sullivan goes over the top of Lewis to pull down the offensive rebound. Taylor's not looking, but he did see it in time just to get the ball. Lewis with the steal, as they were trying to force it. They were seeing a weakness.
Yeah,
they tried to force it a bit too much.
Yeah, just a little bit late.
Lewis slightly out of control, keeps it in bounds. Holmes. Lewis fires up from behind the arc.
Leicester doing a good job defensively. I mean, when you look at it, it's 16 all, and in theory, Sheffield really have struggled probably the last half of this quarter, and Leicester have done a good job. Leicester just need to maybe be a little bit more not cautious, but more more clinical probably in their half court, and I think they'd have the lead.
They've also turned the ball over 5 times, which hasn't helped. Almost a 6th there. Sullivan to Taylor. Calvo in the corner for 3 off the back of the ring, and Jemison will chase it down. 10 seconds to play here in the first quarter. Sheffield can finish this opening period with the lead if this goes in. It doesn't. It's up in the air. It's tipped by Tuck twice. Leicester will get it back. 1.2 seconds left here in this first quarter. So it's a catch and shoot job for the Riders here.
For sure. Or just hold.
Yeah, just run it down. So the game tied at 16 here at the end of the first quarter. We talked about how Sheffield have struggled to score against Leicester so far this season. 16 points on the board. They've kept Leicester to 16. Atiba's got to be pretty happy.
No, I think he will. I think they started out really well. They started doing a good job against Leicester's man. Leicester go to zone. They struggled the second half of the first quarter. I think Leicester, you pointed out about their turnovers and stuff, if Leicester actually have taken care of the ball and let their defensive pressure really dictate the tempo, I think Sheffield could be in for a long night.
Well, we're at level at the end of the first. We'll be back with second quarter action after this break. Welcome back to Loughborough, where the Leicester Riders are trying to get back level with Newcastle at the top of the table, and the Sheffield Sharks are trying to keep the chasing pack at bay in the battle for playoff places. We're level at 16 through the first 10 minutes.
I mean, it's a good example of Leicester's depth. They've got, like we said, 9 guys in, I think, in that first quarter. They've come back pretty much with their starting 5, other than Cavallo because of Coulthard's foul trouble. But, I mean, this is the luxury that they've got, and it makes them very, very tough to beat.
Rowe bounces it down to Sullivan, has Bridge against him. You know he likes that matchup. The double team comes to get it to Rowe at the foul line, and he's pretty accurate from there.
Oh, no, he's a great shooter from the 15 feet and in the elbows. He does a great job, and Sullivan did a great job drawing the extra help, finding the open man, and that's about unselfish basketball.
Good block at the other end by Anthony Rowe to knock the ball out of bounds. Blocked the shot. I think it came off Sullivan last, so it'll be a Sharks ball from the end. Bridge trying to get it into Jemison. He's double teamed. He's under great pressure. He breaks away from it, and there's going to be a reaching foul called against Zaire Taylor.
It might have been a travel. It might have been whether the contact caused it or not, but it might have been a travel.
Certainly that was the call you could see on the replay Sullivan was trying to make. He didn't have a whistle, though, unfortunately for him. Tuck lobbing it into Jemison under pressure, and he converts.
I mean, Sheffield have given him trouble when they've got the ball inside. Jemison's athleticism's caused a little bit of trouble. They just need to do a little bit more of that, certainly against the zone, going inside, outside.
Masonsky round to Taylor. Back up top. Shot clock down to 6. Here's Rowe. Rowe with the turnaround, hand in his face. Tough shot. I think it hit the ring.
No.
Well, it didn't really set the clock, but it doesn't really matter because Sheffield came back down with it.
Yeah.
Lobbed to Tuck by Bridge, and Tuck didn't see it coming, so that'll be a Leicester ball.
See, Leicester, yeah, it's just he tried to force it, maybe something that wasn't there. He really had Holmes on the other side, so I think Leicester being able to change their defense, so they went back to man that time, caused a little bit of trouble with Sheffield, caused a little bit of confusion with Sheffield.
Lasonsky spins against Bridge, head fake, has it ripped away, ball is loose on the floor. Lasonsky fighting for it, trying to get the pass out. Eventually he's just overwhelmed by Sharks, and they come up with the ball. Calvo with a little bump foul. He has his hand up straight away. 1 or 2 fans behind us not too pleased with that call, but that looked like a veteran European foul. Not going to let you go past.
Oh no, that's you see that an awful lot when you watch European basketball. It's just it's one for the team.
It is one for the team, exactly. Very, particularly in Spanish teams, as he would have grown up.
Yeah.
Would have seen that, would have learned that. No doubt they teach it from a young age
very
as well.
young. Yeah, it's almost second nature for them to do it. Back to the zone now. 2-3's active. It does a good job.
Holmes. Little stop and go, drives in. Great finish with a hand in his face.
Now, Holmes is a big-time player. He'll pick his moments, like we said, but he can finish, and he you know what he does like to do? He likes to be the one to take that shot.
Hit an amazing shot earlier this season at the end of the first half. Fired up a running three-point bomb. Lasonsky trying to hit one from behind the arc, doesn't go. Gachette with the rebound. Here's Holmes again, turns the corner, gets a shot off. Rebound from Sullivan, bodies flying. Holmes and Rowe tangled accidentally. So it's 4-on-4 for a second as Sullivan drives to the hole, throws it up, doesn't go, but he does draw the foul. He'll go to the line for a couple.
Yeah, I think it was a good call by the refs. I think Tuck maybe at his feet there, but then he just slides at the last second to make sure he gets some contact. Mike kind of reminds me of a Canadian ice hockey player sometimes. But no, he does a great job. He's very physical. He knows, he understands what it takes to win. He's really a tough guy, but he was just a little bit late there, stepping across.
Just called for the little hip check, the man from Toronto. Sullivan at the free throw line then, shooting 2 for the Riders, trying to draw the game back level. First one is good. And he makes them both. We are tied at 20, 2.5 minutes in to the second period. Connor Washington becomes the 10th Leicester Rider into the game.
Yeah, like we discussed earlier in the broadcast about their depth, they've got another guy now pushing on Holmes and pressuring him up the floor.
Rowe with the rebound after the pressure, forced the shot short. Taylor trying to go to work, kicks it back out to Washington. Rowe on the trail. Rowe with a nice looking spin, but a great block from Jelson.
No, Jelson does a really good job. He's a bit undersized, but he's a great athlete.
Gachette. Shot doesn't go. Bridge fighting for the rebound. So too was Jelson. One of them touched it last, and it'll be a Leicester possession.
I mean, Jelson reminds me of a lot of guys that have come over, undersized, used to, good spin move, timed it well. Kind of, Anthony tried to let go of the ball on the way down. It made it a little bit easier for the block, but it was a great defensive play.
Here's Washington around the screen, turns the corner, kicks it out to Zaire Taylor for 3. Doesn't go off the back of the ring. Bridge with the rebound. Babalola. Jelson again inside. Oh, little no look to Babalola. Blocked by Sullivan. Olu won't like that.
No, it was really a good pass by Jelson. He found Babalola, but then Leicester recovered. And Sullivan, which is what he's been known for in his career, made another great defensive play.
What do you think of the cup final? Last 30 seconds was it? Came up with a huge block on Charles Smith, if memory serves.
That's right.
Essentially won the game for Leicester. Still had to make some free throws, but that defensive play was key.
Now, and that's what, then everybody says it, that's what wins championships, playing D.
Washington with the pull-up 3, string music. You cannot sleep on Connor Washington on the three-point line.
No, he's another good young British talent, and he has a lot of confidence in his ability, and it's great to see him on the floor and stroking the ball.
I think there was a game earlier this season where he hit something like 7 threes in a game.
Yeah.
So they'll definitely want to keep an eye on him as Jelson, who's doing a really good job attacking the basket.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing as Holmes. Holmes is going against 3 or 4 different guys. Jamison's going against 3 or 4 different guys. They're actually, Jamison's doing a really good job for Sheffield inside.
He leads them in scoring with 8 points. Lasonsky looked to hand over to Taylor, knocked loose by Babalola. I think it came off, I thought it came off Lasonsky's leg last. Referee signaled like it was a leg and then gave Sheffield the ball.
It might be, let's see, it might have been.
No, it looks from the replay like it came off Pavel Lasonsky's.
Yeah, no, definitely. Oh, unless Jelson got a little bit of a touch when it was going out. Who am I to argue with refs?
I could say something harsh like a 40-year veteran.
So it gives me a right to be able to argue, I think. I've served my time.
Well, the referee going to the table, not quite sure. Oh, it's because they would have reset the shot clock.
Yeah.
So they'll have to tick it back down. I'm not quite sure where it was. Well, they've gone back down to 23.
I think it might have been a little bit less than that. Yeah.
Oh, no, here we go. They're going further down. I think they're going to go down to 6, according to the PA. Well, I heard Rob Paternoster say 6
yeah.
in a very questioning manner. And we're ready to go.
It's almost like pick a number.
Sullivan, it doesn't matter how long the shot clock when you do that.
When you leave him wide open, he just did it. And again, Andrew showing his experience and helping Leicester really trying to establish themselves in this game.
Here's Holmes. He's been under a lot of pressure just to get the ball over the halfway line, and we talked about the depth. That's really one of the things, because you've now got a guy, it says Holmes fires up for 3, doesn't go. You've got Connor Washington playing pressure on him.
Yeah.
Taylor's done it at times. Kuznov will have done it. Calvo certainly did it.
That's right, and that's what I mean. You saw, and that's
one guy receiving the pressure, 4 guys giving.
Yeah, and also that was kind of a frustration shot from Holmes.
Washington, little stop and go. Shot clock getting low. Rowe has to bail out of that. Taylor's got to fire it up. Blocked again by Jemison. And a shot clock violation is called. Rob Paternoster arguing for a goaltend and arguing too much. He's got a technical foul.
Yeah. Well, they did warn him. Oh.
Hard to tell.
From that angle, it's difficult. I think he might have had a good case, but obviously he was warned earlier in the first quarter, so you tend to get a little bit frustrated sometimes. But we couldn't really tell. But I'll tell you, Jameson is carrying the load for them inside on both ends of the floor, and he's done a great job for him.
Well, he's got 8 points, 5 rebounds. They've got him down for a couple of blocks on the stats. I think he might have deflected 1 or 2 more.
Yeah, I think I'd be up to about 4 with him, I think.
It's a Sheffield ball from the halfway line. They can go front or back court.
Leicester showing a bit of ball pressure and then dropping back into their 2-3 and being active.
Lewis to Holmes. Holmes on the 3-point line. Lewis fires up, doesn't go. Knocked loose by Washington. That will be a Leicester ball. And again, I thought that might have gone the other way.
Yeah, it looked like it. Jameson, though, again, really active in the paint, just going after everything. I just think Sheffield at the moment, the zone's giving them a little bit of trouble. They're not being able to knock down their shots. They need to get back to trying to get the ball inside, outside against any kind of zone pressure. Maybe looking at ball reversal and look at some dribble penetration. It might help them get some easier shots.
Well, the referee still plenty to say to Rob Paternoster. He certainly doesn't look overly happy on the sidelines. His side leading by a point. Taylor fakes it the 3, trying to get past Babalola. Fans wanting a foul, nothing doing, and there's Rowe with the save, but tossed out of bounds. Leicester starting to feel a little hard done by here in the last couple of minutes. As Jemison drives to the basket, that will go. He'll go to the line for a 3-point play opportunity. And he's into double figures now.
No, like I said, he's done a great job for them. Leicester getting a little bit frustrated, maybe getting a little bit out of sync. But Sheffield have kind of risen to the challenge a bit, and I think Jameson's the reason why. And I said somebody would have to have a big game for Sheffield for them to even have a chance at winning, and so far Jameson's providing that.
Rob Paternoster calling a timeout here. The Sharks leading by 1. As we look at this Rob Paternoster timeout here at Loughborough University, really they just need to try and concentrate on what they can control. They might have got slightly frustrated the Riders in the last couple of minutes about things beyond their control?
Oh, no, I think so. And I think sometimes that you tend to focus maybe sometimes too much on the externals, and you really, if Leicester actually up their game defensively, and continue the pressure, I think it's a tempo thing. And we said earlier, or I thought if Holmes was able to control the tempo without turning the ball over too much, Sheffield would have a shot. And at the moment, the pressure's there, but Holmes has done a pretty good job of taking care of the ball and getting Sheffield into some decent sets.
Well, Paternoster having a word with Anthony Rowe as he comes back out. Rowe was called for the foul on the last action, which Jemison converted. He will go to the line for a bonus free throw. Sheffield leading by a couple. Jemison 10 points, 5 rebounds already in this ball game.
No, he's done well. And I think the other thing is, I think Coulthard picking up his second foul early in the first quarter has maybe thrown out, although they use a lot of people in rotations, it's probably thrown it out a little bit with not maybe being hesitant to put him back in.
And free throw is missed. Rebound by Anderson, and Leicester will bring it forward, try and regain the lead. Calvo around the screen, gets it into Rowe. Rowe spins past Gachette, slapped down hard by Babalola and saved by Jemison. It looked like it was going out of bounds, but he managed to keep it going.
Now, the Sheffield are doing a good job digging at the ball in the post, and then...
Oh, so too is Zaire Taylor, who rips one away. Taylor running back, goes to the hole, dumps it back. Again, Jemison's presence forced him out of a shot there. Rowe trying to drive through the middle to the little runner off the back of the ring, and Lewis grabs the rebound.
I mean, that's kind of another. We talked about Holmes taking a little bit of a frustrated shot. That was kind of Anthony trying to make up for maybe a little bit earlier on, a little bit of a mistake.
Babalola drives baseline, shot rattles about. Calvo pulls down the rebound. Calvo underhands it to Sullivan, into Rowe, back out to Sullivan. And again, Anthony Rowe. Rowe trying to take against Jemison on the baseline, and he's called for the foul.
I mean, in that sense, it's just a little, there we go. Oh yeah, for sure. Not getting there, not moving his feet. But there, Sullivan put it inside the Rowe. Rowe kicked it back out. So the ball at least is moving. The previous offense, Anthony just held it. And that's not the way Leicester play, and that's not where they're getting their success from. It's about ball movement and recognition of when you have your mismatches and finding them.
Well, that is his second personal foul. He's gone to the bench. Whether that was deliberate, that they actually, the last couple of times down,
tried to get him into some trouble,
get him to pick up another foul. Masonski then step under, tosses it up, soft little shot.
And that again is good European grounding. Very solid fundamentals, great post move.
2 minutes to go here in the first half. Only just over 50 points on the board between them. 27-26 Leicester lead.
Both teams actually doing a grind out defensive job on each other. They're taking away each other's strengths pretty well.
Taylor backing down on Holmes. Gets it to Anderson, cutting to the basket, and he managed to get it up and in for two. He was fouled very low down, but he still managed to whip it back up.
Great job by Taylor, triple team, and Anderson really controlling it with the reach from Babalola. No, really good job.
Timeout called with 1:39 to go here in the first half. Leicester leading 29 points to 26. Anderson will go to the free throw line to try and make that 30. And, well, Sheffield, we talked about their difficulties in scoring against Leicester. We thought 16 wasn't too bad a number in the first quarter, only 10 in the second.
No, and to be fair, if Leicester wouldn't have had the turnovers and would have converted on some of the stuff where, well, Sheffield have got their hands in and slapped the ball away, this could be pretty one-sided by now. But to Sheffield's credit, they've stuck in and they've kind of disrupted the flow of the game, and that's the only one, well, one of the only ways that they're going to be in with a chance.
Yeah. I suppose it's one thing if the best they've done this year against Leicester is 70. They had a 45 in the second leg of the trophy, and I think 55 early in the season. So if they are going to win, they've got to think, well, we've got to keep Leicester down to 60s or low 70s.
Oh, no, absolutely. And I think that, to be fair, that's got to be part of their mindset and their game plan to have any kind of chance. And at the moment, though, I'm not sure we're going to bet much more over the 55 mark at the moment, the way it's going.
Well, Anderson back out on the free throw line, just waiting for the Sharks to make their way down to that end of the court. And he will try and convert this three-point play. And that's exactly what he does.
No, like I said, Washington and Anderson, both British young players, came in and gave him a little bit of a boost. And they're not, the thing is, they're actually being contributors to the Riders today. They're doing a good job for them.
Holmes waves off Williams. Now he gives it to Williams. Gachette from behind the arc. Not a great shot option there. They didn't really have any rebounders if it didn't go in.
No, it was a couple passes, but they got to move the ball a bit quicker against the zone, and it still has to go inside, outside.
Anderson trying to go to work. Dumps it off to Taylor, out to Lasonsky. Lasonsky trying to find some space. Head fake, tough shot. Oh, how did he knock that one down?
No, absolutely waited, bided his time, made the defenders make the mistake and took advantage of it. No, great job.
He had hands in front and behind, but somehow managed to get the shot off. Williams off the screen, is open, can't convert. Rebound Sullivan. Lasonsky's out and running. He's going to do well to catch that. And that will be a Sheffield ball as Lasonsky deflected it out of bounds.
I might like to see that. There might have been a bit of contact, but no, Holmes did a good job getting in. I mean, it could have been a little bit of a tick-tack
Pass interference.
foul. Yeah, it could have been. Yeah. We had a flag. It probably would have been called.
BJ Holmes slowing it down here, trying to get his team to halftime. They trail by 6. They're trying to just run this down with just 20 seconds to go. Holmes beautifully splits through the defense for 2.
I think when Holmes is in control and under control, knows what he's going to do, he is tough to stop.
Last few seconds here of the first half. Sullivan is fouled by Bridge.
That's one of those Spanish fouls right there. Not putting him in the bonus.
Yeah.
He had a serious mismatch and he took advantage. Well, he made a really smart defensive play, obviously.
Here's Calvo. 5.5 seconds to go. Calvo gets it back, fires up for 3, almost. Anderson trying to fight for it. Can he get the shot off? He had to shoot it. He gave it to Lasonsky. He had to shoot it. Didn't realize the time. But 32-28, a very interesting first half here in Loughborough.
Yeah, I think it's two teams that are actually, like we said earlier on, Sheffield fighting for their lives for that playoff spot to move up, had to play a certain style of basketball. It's slightly disrupted Leicester's flow, and they've done a good job against the pressure. And to be fair, they're in with it. If you'd asked the team early, I think he'd take this at the moment, this type of tempo and this type of game.
Well, he probably would. He'd certainly take the scoreline at the half here at Loughborough University. It is the Leicester Riders 32, the Sheffield Sharks 28. We'll be back with second half action after this. Welcome back to Loughborough, where the Leicester Riders are putting their near 1 year unbeaten home record on the line. Late February 2012, the last time they tasted defeat. Glasgow Rocks, the victors at John Sanford on that occasion. And they're looking to stretch that run a little further, leading the Sheffield Sharks by only 4, though, here, which is probably as close as these two teams have been at this stage in any of their 4 meetings this season. Jeff, we were saying at halftime we felt that Sheffield will be relatively happy with how they've gone through the first 20 minutes. How do they extend that into the second half?
Well, obviously they got to still control the tempo of the game, not get thrown out of the rhythm, and make it as scrappy as possible, to be honest, and disrupt the rhythm of Leicester on the offensive end of the floor.
Jay Kuznod back in the game, picked up a couple of early fouls, sat out the second quarter. The Leicester number 5. Here's Williams from behind the arc. Doesn't quite go. Tuck making himself a nuisance. Oh, Babalola had it and then lost it. Lasonsky might have got a little hand in there. He certainly came up with the loose ball. Sullivan to Kuznod in the corner. Down to Rowe on the low block. Back out to Sullivan. Rowe moves it on to Kuznod for 3 short. And the long rebound comes out to Demetrius Jelson.
Now, I think again, Leicester have got to up the tempo a little bit, I think. They got to try and get some transition baskets, maybe to get a little bit of daylight between them and Sheffield. If they let Sheffield just stand and pass the ball around.
Well, Tuck looked like he was going to get a score there, missed it. Kuznod with the rebound. Lasonsky trying to go to work, under pressure, short on the shot. Ball comes out to Williams. Williams drives in. Williams spins it up, jammed in by Jemison, but after the foul was called on Drew Sullivan, it'll be 2 free throws.
Now, just again, picking their time, picking their moment. Sheffield looked at it, at an advantage, split the 2 defenders, and maybe, well, 80% of the time you're going to get that kind of call.
Michael Williams, 1 of 2 on his first trip to the free throw line in this ball game, makes the first one there.
I think he's, I mean, in the first half, he hit a couple, well, I think he hit 1 3, and then he sat for a long time. And I think it's just, I think he's a rhythm type shooter. If he gets going, he can help Sheffield make this an interesting second half.
Played closing in on 12 minutes in the ball game thus far, so sat for essentially an entire quarter. Kuznod has a little step, dumps it towards Rowe, just a little behind him. He did manage to keep it. Sullivan for 3! What's a full pass, ends up 3 points.
I'll tell you, without Andrew Sullivan's offense tonight, Leicester would be in a little bit of a tougher situation. I think he's about 15 now.
15 points off 5 for 6 shooting. 3 of 3 from the free throw line as well. The only shot he's missed is a 3-pointer, and he has made 2.
I think that's
Babalola from behind the arc. Easy rebound for Rowe.
Yeah, I think that's what Sheffield have to guard against. Almost taking like personal stuff, where Sullivan comes down, makes a 3, Babalola comes down, not move the ball very well, takes a probably not a very needed 3-point shot.
Taylor. Shot clock at 5 here. Lasonsky drives in, and Jemison asks hopefully for a push-off, and Leicester asks even more hopefully for a continuation.
Yeah, I think both should be satisfied with what they got there. I think.
He did make the shot, but it was a long time after the whistle. And that's the 3rd personal foul on Jemison. We talked about how active he'd been at both ends of the floor for Sheffield. That's a blow. Oh,
it's a big blow. And I mean, Sheffield are going to be up against it at the moment. Now they're going to have to really, really dig in now to keep this game close.
Sullivan guarded by Bridge, fired up by Sullivan, and Babalola pulls in the rebound.
Yeah, I mean, Sheffield now will have to go to Tuck and Babalola. Are going to have to try and emulate what Jamison has been doing for Sheffield.
The other thing that with this lineup on court, they've got Bridge as the low man at the back of that 2-3 zone, and Leicester are looking to key in on that.
Oh, for sure.
Babalola.
Great pass.
Great pass down to Williams, who scores on the shot clock buzzer.
Now, that's again, Babalola, very Sullivan-esque in the sense of how he plays, and for his size, he actually is a very skilled player.
Bridge trying to fight against Rowe in the low block on the switch. Rowe spins, and it's knocked away by Bridge, but that's the problem, is that he's just a little undersized for the position he's having to play.
Yeah, and Andrew's a tough kid. He's doing his best, but I mean, obviously, it's a serious mismatch, size and weight.
And the problem is, they moved him from Sullivan to Rowe and now on to Lasonsky, and all of those guys have a height advantage on him.
Yeah.
Trying to get it into Taylor. Holmes knocked the ball down, and Leicester will keep possession from the end line. There's only 3 seconds left on this 24.
Yeah, they've gone to a bit of a man-to-man to try and
Lasonsky
advantage.
off the glass.
Again,
I think the bank shot is dead.
No, absolutely. And I think, again, it's a good example of somebody knowing what they're capable of doing, taking their time, not being rushed. I mean, great fundamental play and the right shot.
Babalola. Ball moved around to Williams. See how quickly Kuznov got out there to close down his shot. Bridge in the corner for 3 hits. Andrew Bridge cuts it to a 2-point game.
I mean, in the sense of the mismatches defensively, Bridge helps, though, on the offensive end for Sheffield because he can spread the zone out a little bit. And he is a great shooter when he gets going.
Taylor to Kuznov. Around the double screen, still going. Kuznov pulls up for 3, doesn't quite go. Oh, Lasonsky was in there like he was the defender the way he had that position. It was knocked loose by BJ Holmes. Leicester will get it, but how did they lose Pavel Lasonsky in there?
I know.
Look at him all on his own.
He wide open. They did a good job recovering, scrapping for it. But again, if they're not wary on the offensive glass, Leicester should actually dominate.
Kuznov fakes it the 3, drives inside instead. Nice move to the basket from Jay Kuznov.
Now, I think that Leicester missed that a little bit in the first half, and provided he stays out of foul trouble, I think he'll
Well, Taylor hit the deck. Referee suggesting it's a flop, in which case he'll maybe get a flop warning in a moment when the ball goes dead. Here's BJ Holmes in the corner for 3, halfway down. Babalola with the same position that Lasonsky had at the other end.
Well, Babalola looks like he's tried to step up with Jameson out of the game. He's done a good job both ends of the floor now, crashing the glass. And then he gets his reward with the putback.
Well, they didn't give Zaire Taylor a flop warning. Obviously just said, get up and get on with it.
That was one of those no calls, I think. There was some contact. I don't think he actually flopped. It was just one of those.
Lasonsky tried to go up quickly. Holmes put him off, and that caused the 24-second violation.
I mean, to be fair, Leicester at the moment are actually playing Sheffield are making Leicester play in a style that they're not really comfortable with. And I think also the fact that they're dropping back into the zone sort of negates a little bit of the pressure Leicester can do. And he might have to change it and get up the floor.
Well, the referee has belatedly given a flop warning to Leicester.
I think it was the wrong guy, though, wasn't it?
Well, no, I think he gave it to the whole team. Just said, but Kuznov argued the case there. Williams fires up for 3, doesn't quite go. Lamble tips it loose. Lobbed up towards Kuznov, he jams it down. Great pass from Taylor, but great connection between the pair of them.
No, and that's exactly what Leicester need to do. They need to get out, do some stuff on the defensive end, and get some easy baskets.
And Kuznov, from almost the 3-point line, was pointing up, telling Zaire to throw it. I wasn't sure Taylor saw it at first, but he most certainly did. Shot clock getting low on the Sharks here as Holmes drives through. And there's a foul on Zaire Taylor for the reach-in.
Now I think that's Leicester have got to get out and run on Sheffield when they can. They've got to do a great job. Again, just a little bit of a lazy reach there by Taylor. And he gets doesn't bail Holmes out, but Holmes gets bailed out a little bit.
Tuck with a little fall away, doesn't have enough on it. Lamble with the rebound. Kuznov, a little stop and go, drives to the basket, is blocked by Williams. Bridge with the rebound. Holmes pushing it the other way. Holmes pulls up at the free throw line. Kuznov with the big rebound. He's off and running. He has people with him. One of them is Zaire Taylor, who lays it in.
Yeah, the more Leicester can do this kind of stuff. Great job, great bounce pass, perfectly executed fast break 2-on-1.
Leicester's lead out to 6, which in the context of this game is a big one. Williams, Babalola now. Babalola is fouled by Lambo. One of those little hack downs that big guys commit all the time, but it drives you nuts as a coach.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, there goes Babalo, goes in, looks for the contact, then is strong enough to actually get the shot up or try and get the shot up. Babalo is a nightmare of a mismatch. When he's in the right frame of mind, I mean, he's 6'6", 6'7", to whatever he is, 230, but he has skills of a two guard. And when his mind's right, he is actually virtually unguardable in this league.
First free throw was a little bit short, but he had enough on it for it to bobble over the front of the ring and in. He's up to 7 personal points today. This will cut it back down to only 4.
And again, Leicester made some really good plays off the break in this quarter, but it's still only a 4-point game, and Leicester haven't been able to increase the advantage.
Sullivan. Calvo. Kuznov. Anderson. Anderson spins baseline, gets it to Lamble. They need to get a shot off here, Leicester. Sullivan does for 3 and hits again! Drew Sullivan with his 3rd triple of the game. He leads all scorers with 18.
I'll tell you, without Andrew Sullivan actually sticking the ball from the 3-point line, again, it could be a good night. But that's what he's there for, his experience. He takes his feet are set, and he nails the shots.
And that one up against the shot clock as well. Big shot to give the Leicester Riders a 7-point lead. Holmes fires one up at the end of the shot clock, which wasn't too far away. Kuznov to Lamble. Calvo. Anderson wants it down on the low block. Calvo drives through to the hole. Nice move from Jorge Calvo.
Now it's a bit more Leicester basketball now. They're picking their moments. There's a little bit more urgency in how they're attacking the basket, moving the ball. Great move, penetrates, focuses on the play. You know, and that's what Leicester have to do. They have to play a little bit more up-tempo and get Sheffield frustrated. As Sheffield frustrated Leicester in the first half, Leicester need to start doing the same thing now.
They certainly do. Great attack by Jorge Calvo. Certainly sparked life into this Leicester team. The Riders leading by 9 here in Loughborough. Well, it'd be interesting to see, is he coming back out? Now he is. Jemison is coming back out onto the court. It's always one of those things where you wonder how long a coach leaves it. How long can he afford to leave it?
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe because it's an offensive possession and get him back in. If something happens, you can maybe get him out, offense, defense. But if not, it's a risk, but I think they need to do it.
Well, interestingly, it's Babalola who's, Lamble got a little deflection on that. It's Babalola who's sat down in the process. So you've still got Bridge either in the back line of the defense, or if they come out in a man, who'll be undersized against whoever he's defending.
Yeah, for sure.
Good hands from Kuznov, ripped it away from top, blue pass, all the defense, and finger rolled it in. Super play by Kuznov.
And again, it's an example of with Kuznov going to the bench early in the first half. Leicester really didn't get to play the way they want, and Kuznov gives you that. He gives you that length, that defense. He's just picked up a 3rd on his reach foul, though.
Yeah, he went to try and do the same again, and whether it's a bit of adrenaline on the last play, just went a bit much and got called for the foul, but he gets a good round of applause as he sits down, having picked up that 3rd foul. 7 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and a couple of steals.
No, I think like you said earlier in the show, he epitomizes what Leicester are all about, and he just gives you that added dimension on the perimeter.
Blocked by Lamble, and that will be a 24-second violation. Barry Lamble throwing it out. His second block of the game.
And again, they did a good job. Sheffield did a good job getting inside, but Lamble waited, and then actually executed the block and a shot clock violation. Sheffield have to be careful now.
Riders' lead is up to 11. It's all come in the last couple of minutes, really. Calvo penetrates, gets it to Sullivan. Sullivan drives to the hole, tosses it up, not quite. Rebound, Anderson at the offensive end. And Leicester can reset.
And again, smart play by Anderson, got the rebound, hustled, instead of trying to force a shot, got it out, milked the clock a little bit, give Leicester an opportunity.
Anderson, guarded by Holmes, spins along the baseline, throws it to Taylor. Oh, it did get there. Goaltend. That one definitely on the way down as Jemison blocked that. It didn't look like it was going to get to Taylor, but they ended up with 2 points out of it.
After singing Anderson's praises being smart, it might have been a little bit of a force there. And he got away with it, fortunately for him.
Shot clock switched off here at the Sir David Wallace Centre as Sheffield trying to take the last play of this third quarter. Holmes fires up for three and hits. He's given Leicester a quick chance. If Taylor is fast, he'll get one off here. Racing down court, Taylor fires it up. Not quite. Was trying to draw some contact as well.
Not too bad.
And it's down to only 8, but a good last couple of minutes by the Riders have given them this cushion.
Absolutely, and like we said, it came when Jamison was off the floor. They did a great job controlling the tempo of the game. They upped the tempo, certainly defensively, got some easy baskets in transition. But again, something like Holmes right there, just again, wants that shot, does a good job burying it. But Leicester have done a good job getting the cushion. They just need to continue that tempo and push the ball, I think. And it could be a long quarter for Sheffield. I don't know if Sheffield will get to that 55 mark or not yet.
Well, Leicester in control here. Fourth quarter action still to come. Join us after this break. Welcome back to Loughborough, where the Sheffield Sharks trying to get their way back into this game. They were doing very well through the first, 28 minutes or so, and then Leicester with 9 consecutive points got themselves out to a 13-point lead, and then BJ Holmes broke that 9-0 run with a 3 to end the third period, which has cut it down to 10.
Now, I mean, in essence, Leicester doing what they do well. Sheffield are averaging about 13, 14 points a quarter. It's going to be a tough ask. Sheffield are going to have a big quarter to actually get back in this, even if Leicester struggle a little bit on the offensive end.
Well, Sheffield by quarter, 16 points, 12 points, 14 points. Neither of those are going to be enough to win this ball game.
No.
Anderson. Taylor. Lambo with the spin and lays it in for 2.
Now, really solid move by Barry in the post. Did a good job waiting his time. Jamison had to be a little bit careful so he wouldn't pick up his fourth. But no, great job by Leicester to come out of the quarter and get in the basket that they needed.
Holmes under pressure from the defense, breaks through, shot clock getting low. Holmes still going, has it knocked away. Holmes wanting a foul, nothing doing. Calvo to Taylor. Taylor lays it in, up and not quite in. Went under the basket, couldn't quite convert.
Nah, just from one end to the other, both. Maybe Holmes a little bit frustrated trying to get a shot. Maybe got bumped, but really Leicester should have finished on the break.
Lewis fakes at the 3. Here's Holmes to Jemison. Lambo trying to knock it loose. Lewis open. Head fake, gets Calvo up in the air. Can't knock down the jump shot though. Calvo throws it cross court to Sullivan. Anderson squares up to top. Little stutter, spins back the other way. Not quite for Jamal Anderson. He draws the foul though, and will go to the line for 2.
I mean, that's what you like to see. I mean, a young English player, confident, does a good job against one of the better defenders in the league. So it bodes well for Anderson and Leicester's future that if they continue to bring and breed this young talent.
Jamal Anderson, nice high arc on the free throw. And we were talking right at the top of the show about Leicester's diversity in scoring. And aside from Sullivan, who's got 18, again, you see 6, 7, 4, 5 spread through the team.
I know, and it doesn't matter how you get your points as long as you win the basketball game. And then I think that's what's great about Leicester's situation. I don't think they really have anybody that's going out trying to be their leading and dominant scorer.
Good hands from Calvo. They've done this a few times today. Taylor, Kuznod, now Calvo, just getting in there and ripping the ball loose.
Yeah, I think the pressure that Holmes has been under all night from 3 or 4 different defenders all the time is starting to show a little bit. Looks a little bit tired to me. His concentration's going.
Calvo, shot clock getting low. He penetrates, kicks it out. Taylor's got to shoot, fires up for 3 off the back of the ring. Tuck has the rebound. Nice spin from Holmes to get past Calvo as he tried to gamble on the steal there. Still Holmes trying to get through. Babalola. Williams from way behind the arc is short. Jemison with the offensive rebound. Blocked from behind by Taylor. He's still got it though. Throws it away to Anderson.
Yeah, Sheffield are really out of sync. The team might need to use one of his timeouts now before this game gets way beyond them.
Good pass from Lamble to Anderson. And he does indeed use a timeout right now because the Riders' lead has ballooned out to 15. Well, you think back with just a couple of minutes to go in the quarter, 3 minutes to go in the third quarter, so 6 minutes ago in playing time, it was 43-39. Leicester have scored 14 points in the last 6 minutes. Sheffield just that B.J. Holmes triple at the end of the third period.
Yeah, the shot of the Sheffield bench there on camera before, it's just Holmes is blowing a little bit, and he's had to do an awful lot of work to keep Sheffield close. And I just think, again, it's the depth and the pressure that Leicester put on you over the 40 minutes, not the first 10, but the 40 minutes that wear people out. You look at him now, he looks like he's just about almost done in.
Well, one of the referees is talking to Sullivan on the bench there. I'm not quite sure what that was about.
I'm sure he's offering to take him out to dinner after the game.
I don't think he's saying, you shot really well tonight.
Yeah, no.
Andrew, good game. 18 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks. Another day at the office for Andrew Sullivan. Stolen away by Anderson. Anderson still going. Good hands from Holmes to steal it back. Lamble is the only man back. Washington joins in now. Williams steps round. That's one where you get out on the breaking press, make the pull-up.
Yeah, no, for sure. But Anderson there, it's a little bit of an experience. Probably trying to do everything at one pace. Slow it down. Let it develop a little bit. They got to be careful now.
Babalola drives in.
Ooh.
And I think Sheffield are arguing there might have been a goaltend in that. The referee said, no, it's not. And there was definitely a foul on that. And then it was a question of, after that shot goes up, did the defender do anything to prevent the ball from going in?
I think it was just, he might have tipped, but it was too tough. It was too quick to even make the call. And I think, let's see, we'll have a look at it. Again, Babalola doing a good job. Ooh, well, in the sense of smacking the backboard.
Yeah. You could easily see that be given as a goaltend, but I think the referee deemed it to have absolutely no chance of going in.
Yeah. We love interpretations.
Babalola makes the first free throw. Interesting, you saw a couple of little mistakes from Washington and Anderson, and Paternostro's gone straight back to Lasonsky and Calvo, because he's ever the coach, ever the pessimist, sees it down to 12 and gets worried, and it might get further down. Babalola with the steal. Babalola! No! Somehow that came out. Calvo called for the foul.
No, I think what he has to guard against, Rob, and he's trying to do that with bringing Calvo back into the game, is that little bit of not letting Sheffield think that they've got a shot at getting back in to win this game. And at the moment, Sheffield, probably as much through carelessness on Leicester's part, have made a little bit of a run here. So, yeah, I didn't think it'd be too long before you get Sullivan in and get a little bit more experience out on the floor.
Well, Sullivan's gone back to the subs bench. So too has Rowe. They're about to check back into the game as Babalola looks to make this second free throw. There you see the two Leicester players ready to come back in. The free throw gives them the opportunity, and Calvo and Lamble will sit down.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, this again, you're back to what Leicester started the game with. You got about 6:24 to go, and you've got your strongest five really in your mind on the floor, and hopefully, well, in essence, Leicester should be able to close the game out.
Well, we talk about the depth and what it means. Leicester have two players who have played more than 20 minutes in this ball game. Kuznard for three doesn't go. Only Sullivan and Taylor have been out there for more than half the game.
And again,
good hands from Sullivan to knock it loose. Taylor is out and running. Holmes is behind him. Holmes fouls in. That will count for Zion. Taylor will go to the line for the bonus.
I like that. I think we'll be getting a look at that again. Yeah, let's just say great defensive stuff. Not a great pass. Ooh.
Faked at the pass.
Yeah.
And kept it
Oh
for the
yeah.
leg.
No, it was more of his forearm, and yeah, it was. I was thinking more body, but his forearm got in there, and it's a tough one. But again, Leicester doing what I think they need to do as a unit against Sheffield is push the tempo, and they're getting the rewards.
And to contextualize that Leicester stat, 5 Sheffield players played more than 20 minutes, and Bridge is only a minute shy of it. Just gives you fresher legs at this stage of the game. Taylor got a little piece on that pass.
But Leicester have done a good job on Williams, except for a couple like open looks. They've done a really good job shutting him down.
Wasonski pulls in the rebound. Nico Williams, 3 for 9 shooting today, 1 of 6 from the three-point line. And Taylor around the screen. Inside, Lasonsky blocked away by Babalola. That'll be a Leicester ball from the end with 8 on the shot clock.
Yeah, I think though, if Leicester are relying on that, like the reaches and the slaps away and stuff, he was open. It's going to be a long day. They're tired. They're flat-footed. It's almost, again, you really use his third timeout. He should have hopefully put a little bit of pressure on Leicester to get, maybe that's the only way they'll get some.
Got to shoot it. Shot clock down to 2. Sullivan fires up under pressure. Oh, it had the line, but not the legs.
No.
He almost knocked it loose. Only his second three-point miss of the game. Here's Williams from behind the arc, doesn't go. I think he made his first one, didn't he, Michael Williams? Yeah. And he's struggled since then.
Yeah, and if you look, it's not even like it's 3 feet behind the three-point line, and maybe it's just getting himself a little bit closer, and he'd have a little bit better opportunity.
Wasonski, Sullivan, now he's got his feet set. He shows you what he can do on the shot clock buzzer.
That's right, as long as his feet are set, Andrew's become a very, very good shooter.
Well, he's passed the 20-point mark in the ball game, Drew Sullivan, 21 in total. He's hit 4 from behind the arc. And the referee, I think, thought a timeout had been called, but actually it was the shot clock buzzer that went off. And the referee thought that was the table blowing the horn to call a timeout, and they've just realized their mistake and sent them back out.
Well, a little bit of a respite for Sheffield there, but not planned. But, I mean, Sullivan's a great example of you can afford to bring in younger kids out of university from the States or whatever, but when you have veterans that are used to playing at a very high level, that just raises everybody's level and their confidence. And when you can bail people out with shots and stuff at the buzzer and make defensive plays, it obviously helps and enhances your chances.
Holmes' three-point shot doesn't go. Jemison gets it, but ends up out of bounds. And it will be Leicester ball. Now, this is taking one for the team. We've been talking about it. Yep. There's one taking it for our team.
Absolutely. No reward, though. No foul shots. No foul shots.
No free throws for the cameraman. Well, we started off the top of the show reminiscing about the old Victory Hall, which is no longer here out at Loughborough University, as Kuznard fires up the 3, and Leicester look well in control of this game. And we were talking about how great you used to play out at Victory Hall, Jeff, how you always lit it up.
The older you get, the better you've always played. You never really had a bad game.
And Leicester, of course, have had a few home issues in recent years. Granby Halls they played at for about 20 years until that got ripped down in the center of town. But news this week about the potential new venue for the Riders at Grace Road, the cricket ground. They've got a new building planned. They hope to be there within a year. 3-court basketball venue plus the main central venue with 2,000 seats. The future of British basketball depends on clubs having venues like that, places they can call their own.
Time out on the floor. We'll take one too. We'll be right back after this break.
Welcome back to Loughborough. Well, we'll hopefully be in that new venue sometime in 2014. They just need a few more quid, as they say, and go through the planning process, but the drawings have been made. They've got a tremendous business plan behind it. Looks like a really exciting facility, and as I say, hopefully we'll be there this time next year.
Great. And see, the other thing is you have a partner in the sense of the cricket club, and you should complement each other. And when you do that, then it's just grounds to hopefully have more and more success.
The other partner in the group is Leicester College, which is the biggest further education college. I think 30 or 40,000 people, 18 to 25, go to that, and they have almost no facilities sporting-wise.
No, and actually, it's sort of then really you got to see Sport England loving it, because it hits all their targets that they're pushing for that. But it also, like I said, it's about involvement with the community and delivering on those aspirations that'll make the game flourish and the facility flourish.
And they certainly look like they'll have a pretty decent team to put in it if this unit is anything to go by. They've already got one piece of silverware in the cabinet this season, the Leicester Riders, and they're a couple of minutes away from going back level with Newcastle at the top of the table. They have a trophy semi-final to come as well. These are good times to be a Leicester Rider fan.
No, and you're absolutely right. And I think the thing that people have to realize that Leicester was a bastion of basketball in the early days when I was here. It became so in the 70s and 80s. It was really good, and I think it's great to see basketball flourishing in Leicester. And I think the model that Leicester's followed is a good one for a lot of the BBL clubs and EBL clubs to follow, with a very solid community program, a strong education link, and then you reap the rewards on the floor. A great crowd, great venue to play in. So they're certainly on the right track, and their success is well earned, and you had to work hard for it. So it's good.
And I'm sure those Riders fans, as the shot goes up, will remember back when they used to be in Loughborough. We watched Taylor out on the break, bring it down. But it was only 10 years or so ago that Leicester were playing out here on a regular basis with no home venue, couldn't win a ball game, and life is sweet now.
Oh no, absolutely. But at least basketball fans aren't quite as fickle as football fans. So, the patience that the Leicester public and the sporting public show, and it's been good, and it's great to see.
And the Sharks, well, they gave a good account of themselves. They probably just ran out of steam here as Asante scored for the travel in the last 15 minutes of the game. But again, these two teams on the other side of the trophy draw, they could yet meet in a final.
Yeah, and again, that's a one-off. I mean, Sheffield do have talent, and Sheffield are fighting for lives. It is about bodies and being worn out, and that's what Leicester do to you. They wear you out over the 40 minutes.
Bridge fires up for three, doesn't quite go. Sullivan almost had the rebound. Tuck knocked it loose, but Kuznard came up with it. Tuck commits the foul.
One of those hockey fouls. There you go. That's what we like to see.
Yeah. Certainly was. And Drew Sullivan getting a rapturous applause as he goes to the bench, and rightly so. He's been the star player for the Riders today. He's 21 points, 4 of 6 from behind the arc, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, couple of blocks. He does everything really for this team. Lobbed up! Oh, almost jammed in by Kuznard.
No, and Andrew he's the talisman for them. You know that you've got an ultimate competitor in it. Great idea, great look. Tuck again. Just a little bit late and gets drawn for the foul. But no, with somebody like Sullivan, that's what clubs need. You have to have that, and it's what's maybe given Leicester a little bit of the edge, I think, in probably the title race. The depth and also the experience of winning trophies, which Andrew has.
Kuznard makes the first free throw. But it will take some unseating the Newcastle Eagles at the top of the table. They're so used to being there at the end of the season.
Oh, and I think winning breeds winning, and obviously Fab's a tremendous competitor. I think they've got a great balance, and it's demonstrated by Sheffield only coming up short of the 55 that I lost my pound on.
There's still a chance. Taylor's passed that. Lasonsky didn't realize it, so he did eventually pick it up. And laid in on the buzzer by Anderson, but we talked about it. Leicester have kept Sheffield this season to 45, 55. They're at 51 now, so whatever they get in the last 30 seconds on top.
Yeah, and I think really the best they're going to hope for is one more score. Then Leicester will just kind of run the clock out, I would think. But no, Leicester again stepped it up. And like we said, probably from about the 28-minute mark, really kind of turned the screw. And just Sheffield, unfortunately, just ran out a little bit of gas.
Kuznot and Taylor taking their leave of the game as Washington and Jordan Dorth gets his first taste of the action. So that's everybody on for Leicester. Brownell getting his first taste. They actually had a game a couple of weeks ago, Leicester, where they had 12 guys score in the game.
Which
doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, in any league, never mind, you know what I mean? And that's what you want. You want to keep everybody happy. These guys work hard in practice, and you get your rewards on the floor.
Well, time running down. Washington just watching up at the clock. He lets the ball go. Riders fans on their feet. Their unbeaten record continues. Nobody seemingly can come to Leicestershire and take anything other than defeat home. They haven't been beaten for 50 weeks in their own buildings. And really, for the last 15 minutes of the game, it never looked anything other than that.
No, they did a great job. And the crowd, I think, with either Taylor or Coulthard alluded to it in the interview, it's the six-man stuff. And I'm really looking forward to next Saturday as we come into Leicester to play.
Well, good luck with that one, Jeff, next week taking on the Riders in Leicester. But here in Loughborough, it's been another good victory for Leicester. It's finished here. The Leicester Riders 72, the Sheffield Sharks 51. Well, Rob, another win, another time you've kept Sheffield to a really low number.
Yeah, defensively, I thought we were solid most of the way, and we did a really good job on the boards too. That was important for us. We out-rebounded them 41-25, I think. I thought Anthony Rowe did a heck of a job on the glass, and Barry Lamble gave us some great minutes on the glass. So, it wasn't pretty at times for us, but, we can win in different ways, and that's what's nice about this team.
And first quarter, you get 9 guys out on the court. That's got to help the legs later on in this game and later on in the season. Yeah,
I thought so. I thought that was, certainly something we talked about, that we wanted to make sure that by the third, fourth quarter, we were fresher, and I thought we were. I thought that run in the third quarter, we wore them down a little bit. But it's nice to get the contributions from everyone, and especially the way our schedule sets up the rest of the way. Doing well in these competition, a lot of times it penalizes you because, you have now to play so many fixtures in such a short period of time. But, with the bench we have, we feel like, we should be able to handle it.
And Sheffield did a good job, really, too. It was only late in the third quarter you really managed to get a grip on the game.
I thought Atiba did a nice job today. I thought they were pretty smart defensively. I thought they played a really good defensive game. A couple shots didn't go in for them, but I think that's a good team there. And I think as the season goes on, they'll continue to get better. I'm very impressed with their improvement. Although the scoreline doesn't show it, I thought they, were a tough team to play today.
And I think that's 22 home games in a row now, is it? You guys just seem unbeatable.
It's going well for us. It's a good time to walk in here as a Rider fan, and we just continue to win. But if you look at us this year, we're 23-2, so we're winning in a lot of different places. And the guys feel comfortable, and the guys are unselfish, as you see today. We don't have guys that play 35 plus all the time. We have guys that some games play 23, 24. Everybody's together, which is nice.
Well, Atiba, we said at the start of the show, it's tough to put points on the board against this Riders team, and so it proved.
Yeah, Rob didn't do anything I didn't expect. They came, played all zone most of the game. We did a pretty good job, I thought, defensively for about 3 quarters. But we just couldn't pull away, and we needed some guys to hit some shots, and no one stepped up today for us. Sullivan, he likes playing against Sheffield. He shoots the ball really well against every time we play him. But, so he hit some big threes, and, they pulled away, and we had some turnovers in that fourth quarter to start and kind of pulled it and got him some separation, and we could never recover.
Defensively, though, for the first 28 minutes or so, I thought you matched them well.
You know, we've improved defensively since the last time we played them, and I think we showed that. I think we're a better unit. Offensively, and against that zone, we just need to hit some shots, and 3 for 21, I think it was, just isn't going to beat you any zone really, but this team especially. So it's one of those games we knew what we had to do and we didn't do it.
And it's also hard when you see they've got 9 guys on the court in the first 8 minutes of the game.
Yeah, I thought that kind of played a part. They really tried to wear down BJ and whoever was handling the ball. But, we handled it well. We didn't turn the ball over too much. But, offensively, we just missed another punch.
Some positives to take out of the performance, though?
Yeah, I think we, showed defensively we can play with the best teams as far as defensively matching up. But we still need to play a lot better offensively and execute. And not even execute, but knock shots down.
Well, Jeff, if we look back over the course of this game and some of the key plays, we saw Jelson early on for the Sharks, very active both ends of the floor.
No, Jelson actually kept Sheffield in it. His work on the glass, being active, made some smart plays. And really, to be fair, the key was when he picked up his foul trouble and then Leicester actually got a little bit of a cushion. But
they found some ways to get to the basket, the Riders, some steals, they had some block shots. It just kept them ticking over when perhaps their offense wasn't at full kilter other than Andrew Sullivan.
No, yeah, Sullivan had a great game offensively for them, but I mean, early on, their turnovers and defensive pressure by Leicester in the sense of, but they turned the ball over and it didn't actually equate into points. Later on, as the game went on, their pressure really picked it up, and they got some easy baskets, and that broke their back.
That's what we see here, where they get defensive steals, they out on the break, some alley-oops and dunking, and Sullivan just shot the lights out.
No, absolutely. Like I said, Andrews turned himself into a really good shooter in the sense of when his feet are set. And again, Sheffield, after the 40 minutes, it's a 40-minute game, everybody has to remember, and then Sheffield were just worn out by Leicester's continuous pressure, and then obviously it leads to easy baskets down the stretch.
Yeah, and that allowed the Riders really to pull away with it down the stretch. They managed to get some free points, ended up winning very comfortably in the end. Well, Sheffield have suffered a setback in their quest for postseason action. Let's see how a couple of their rivals in that super tight playoff place got on when London hosted Cheshire on Friday night. With the season series level at 1-1, this game took on even more significance than that of a regular four-pointer, with the tiebreaker on the line as well as the precious BBL Championship points. Perry Lawson and Adrian Sturt helping the home side into a 9-2 advantage, only for the Phoenix to respond with the next 8 points of the game for their first lead at 10-9. 5 points from Ches Marks saw Cheshire cap the first quarter with the final 7 points to lead 23-18 after 10 minutes. That advantage peaked at 31-23 after some good play from Jerome Gums early in the second period, before Teo Ogundengbi sparked a run of 10 points to 2 by the home side, which saw the scores level at 33-all. Sean Myers had Phoenix back up by 5 just before halftime, but a run of 10 straight points by the home side around the halftime break had them back ahead at 46-41. Cheshire tied the game at 46, but Ogundengbi would score 6 points as London posted 10 without reply to blow the game open. From there, it was largely one-way traffic in the final quarter, Orland Jackman and Sturt doing most of the damage. The Lions' lead peaked at 81-61 6 minutes from the end, and they went on to claim a hugely significant victory. 59 points combined for Jackman, Sturt and Ogundengbi, with Marks and Gums top scoring with 23 apiece for Phoenix. Final score, London Lions 94, Cheshire Phoenix 83. Let's catch up on all the results from the weekend then. An important victory for the Lions was Manchester claimed another win over the Heat, this time beating them 83-70. Glasgow beat the Tigers. In the trophy, Newcastle will not be back to defend their crown. They were beaten 94-88 by the Wolves in the quarterfinals, for whom Alex Iwobi scored 34 points. Also in the semi-finals are Cheshire Phoenix, after they ended Worthing's hopes with an emphatic 106-61 success on Saturday. Sunday's action saw Keith Page lead the Wildcats to a key win over the Lions, and Glasgow kept up their pursuit of a top 4 finish by beating the Raiders. Here's how the table stands after all that action. They're level again at the top as Newcastle and Leicester continue to go stride for stride.
Glasgow have moved above Plymouth into the top 4, although the Raiders have games in hand, whilst they've bunched up even more in that playoff battle. London have a 2-point lead, but they've played more games than their rivals. Sheffield have the fewest defeats of all of those teams vying for position, and there's nothing to separate Cheshire, Durham and Manchester.
Great victory for the Riders here in Loughborough. We'll be with the Sharks again next week. A big game against Jeff Jones and his Manchester Giants. That's the Transpennines derby between the Sheffield Sharks and the Manchester Giants, Tuesday 19th of February, Sky Sports 3 at 7 p.m. Hope you enjoyed tonight's action. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.